So bought this house in 1994, and the garage was a two-story garage with the expectation from the builder that the upper floor would probably be turned into quarters or some such thing. The walls were all in place to make that area over in there a bathroom, a closet, and probably another closet. This was a solid wall. This was basically a doorway entry into this space and another door into that space. But I managed to convince my wife that that was a poor use of the space and that a shop would be an infinitely better use of the space. So in probably somewhere around 2008, several years later, I mean, I used it basically bare studs, no air conditioning, as sort of a hobby space, when my son was in Cub Scouts. But in about 2008, got serious about building it out as a true shop. We reclad the whole outside of the garage in hardy plank and took that opportunity to add 3 windows over on the east side. So now I have light coming in from the north and the east. I opened up this section of wall to let that light in, and then expanded this doorway, removed that wall in order to make it as useful a shop as possible. It's still snug, but usable in terms of the types of stuff that I typically try to do. I built this bench in 2016. I got a lumber kit from a company called Horizon Wood Products, and they shipped it to me. It was cheaper. It's ash, and it was the cheapest option by far, including the shipping, for getting the board footage that you need for the bench to my front yard. I think it is a fabulous bench. It does everything I want in a bench. I love the leg vise. I love the wagon vise. The leg vise, to say, is, to me, phenomenal. If you clamp something in that, it's not moving anywhere. It's the bench crafted hardware. It's pricey hardware, but I think it's extremely well made. It functions flawlessly. I do use the hold fast. Whoa.
You okay?
Yep. If you want to hold a piece here in the middle of the bench to work on it, it's a great way to do it. That is another attempt at solving my wood hoarding problems. I think it was probably Shop Notes somebody had made this thing, and it is PVC pipe cut at an angle, and they start from basically about 8 inches, and then you spiral your way up till you get into the 4-foot range. And each one allows you to store your offcuts of a particular size. So when you look at something, you know approximately how tall that little piece of Purple Heart is before you have to. So it's a convenient way to store a lot of stuff vertically. And I store metal pipe, plastic pipe, dowel rods, everything, quarter round, whatever you want to store in it, it happens to fit. And you can, as shown, roll it out, spin it around, look for whatever it is you're looking for. Crosscut sled. For anything that requires precision is a crosscut sled. I will often take the the fence off out of the way and use the whole width of the table. I can put a 1/2 inch, this is 1/2 inch plywood, so I put a piece of 1/2 inch out here to support the longer end and make my cuts. This is a very handy way for doing the sort of cuts that I often did on the miter saw. For rough cutting heavy stock, like the 8/4 rough material that I often get from doing cutting boards, I will use a crosscut saw, hand saw, to cut it into approximate lengths for then running through the jointer and planer and prepping it for final work. I went to a lot of yard sales and found Diston saws generally dirt cheap. I don't think I paid probably more than about $5 for any one of these saws. I sent them off to Bad Axe Tool Works to have them refurbish the saw plates and sharpen them. They were fabulous. They're a great outfit. They tell you everything you need to know about how to package the saws up and ship them off, what approximately it's going to cost before they get started. When they get the saws, they look at them and say, here's what we recommend doing and what it's going to cost. Are you in? And then they package them back up and ship them home. But cross-cutting, particularly rough stock to approximate length, is wonderful with a good, sharp handsaw. It is amazingly fast. I compare that with like using a jigsaw. I've got a Bosch jigsaw. I could basically go get the box, pull it out, put a blade in, plug it in, dust goes everywhere. Or walk over here, grab this saw, strike a line, cut. I usually put like my garbage can underneath the cut, so as I saw, the sawdust is going right into the garbage can rather than all over the place with a jigsaw. And I'm done. What I love is the ability to instantly rearrange. If some tools suddenly become more part of your workflow, move them down. If tools aren't part of your workflow, move them up, move them out. Combination square, 1/2 inch chisel, and probably my smoother.
Let's look at your smoother.
This is a Veritas low angle smoother, which I really like. I don't use it as much as I would like to, but I'm using it more and more, finding more and more things that I want to do with it. It's a really nice tool. Feels great in the hand, easily adjustable. To me, it was a thought exercise between this guy and a block plane, because the Humble block plane is really a very versatile, useful tool. This rather humble looking piece I use for cutting handholds into the edge of cutting boards. This guy sits up here, gets clamped, and then I have a palm router with a bowl bit in it that then cuts that handhold for the cutting boards, and it's set to be the exact right length that I want. And then it's just a matter of centering the bit, and then this provides extra bearing surface for the router to sit on, so you're not quite so tippy with it. I bought the Oneida Mini Gorilla, which is a 1.5 horsepower system, 2-stage filtration. It has a cyclone and one of the things I liked about this is with the Oneida, you get a HEPA certified filter. A lot of other manufacturers say, "Oh, it's a great filter. It filters down to fine particles." It's like, well, what are your specs? How's that? But Oneida says, here's it's a HEPA rated, here's the certification. GE does all of our certification work. It does great. What I had before that was a Penn State Industries filter bag, which filtered to 1 micron. And I noticed when this came in that I had a whole lot less fine dust settling on everything in the shop. Hammer A331. It is just such a nice tool. A lot of folks talk about, you know, snipe on when they run their planer. I don't have any. If I have snipe, it's undetectable. Unless I do something that messes up the passage of the wood through it, I don't have any snipe. And it is a, you know, segmented cutter head, so it does a great job on gnarly grain. We'll just pull him out from the wall a little bit. So if you're jointing, it uses the Euro style guard, which is one of those subjects apparently that's almost like religion between this style and the pork chop style. I like this style. It took a moment to get used to it, but once I did, it was very easy. Your hands basically just glide right over and push the piece through. No issues, no problems. Release the table, flip it up, flip it over, and you're now ready to thickness plane.
That's it.
That's it. One other piece is you have to engage the transmission. Okay. Pull that lever out and engage the transmission, so that turns on the feed rollers for the planer. And then you know, crank your beds up to whatever thickness you want to go with, lock it in place, and you're ready to plane. I think if you carefully plan your work in terms of jointing and planing, it's very, very simple and straightforward, and the quality of the cuts are just awesome.